You guys, how stinking pretty is that right now? It is just snowing leaves, and here comes a truck. And look how dirty my windshield is. It's all good. We are here. We are going to talk about manifestation. I am sitting in front of the most beautiful fall scene right now, even though it's 75 degrees out in New England, which is pretty crazy. It should be crisp fall air, and it's just not today. But you know what? I'll take it, because in a few months we're going to be knee deep in some snow. But the picture, what I'm looking at right now, is so beautiful. I'm sitting in front of the lake near my house, and I like to sit here and just collect my thoughts. I kind of just chill. I don't have the radio on. Some days I do. Sometimes I bring a snack. It's just such a great place. And I thought, you know what? I'm definitely going to do a video here today, because this is my Zen place. So I want to talk about manifesting relationships. People will struggle with this because they don't know the different steps, or they might struggle with like one step in particular. So let me break this down for you. All right, ready? We're going to get out the notepad. We're going to get out the pen, get out the highlighter. I want you to take these notes down, watch this video over and over again. And I want you to figure out, number one, where do you struggle in this process? Number two, what are you doing really well? Runner. What are you doing really well, and what are you not doing at all? First thing I'm going to tell you is you absolutely have to be detailed on what it is that you want in a relationship. So we are going to clarify the things that we really want. Be very specific. So I don't want to hear that you want a relationship and you want to get married and you want the white picket fence and you want 2 kids. I don't want to hear any of that. I want to hear, if you were in a relationship with this person, I want you to be able to describe your relationship, who this person is, their character. I don't want you to make a list of like, well, he's nice and she's pretty and she's sweet. I want you to understand what those things actually mean to you. If you were telling me about this person and you said they were sweet, I would be like, oh, really? What do they do that's so sweet? So be able to, this is where you're going to play make-believe a little bit. I want you to construct on paper really who this person is. You are essentially formulating this person, and not just the person themselves, but also the relationship. Like, I want you to envision the type of relationship that you actually want. What kind of a partner do you want? When you're stressed, what do they do for you? When they're stressed, what do you do for them? And they love that you do this, and they love that this is how you take care of them. Like, what does all of this look like? When there's an argument, when there's a fight, how do you guys handle it? You are describing to me the relationship that you're already in. So tell me about it. Be able to articulate in a lot of detail who this person is and the type of relationship that you're actually in. I want you to also discuss and write and talk about this, whatever, in the present tense. It is happening now. I do not want to hear, I would like someday, I hope I get this. No. I want you to state what is happening, live in this moment of it being here. And I want you to be able to describe it in that sense. When I talk about the present tense, I want you to give statements on this piece of paper. And look, this should be multiple pieces of paper. That way you can really, really describe this person in this relationship. But I want you to write things like, I am in a loving relationship. I am in a relationship where we both respect each other. I am in a relationship where we both share the same interests. We both want the same things. We're always on the same page and have the same goals for our relationship. Like, be able to go on and on about the type of relationship that you're already in. This is the practice now, is that once you have this list, you need to be carrying this around with you constantly. Whether this list is on your phone, whether it's on an actual piece of paper, it doesn't really matter. I want you to constantly throughout the day go back to this paper. I want you to start creating mental pictures in your head of you being in this relationship and how you would feel if every day this was your life. The reason why visualizing what it is that you want and being in the moment of having what it is that you want is so incredibly powerful is because you begin to sit in the feeling of what it's going to feel like, how you would really feel if this was happening right now. When you have those feelings, all you're ever going to feel is gratitude. You're going to feel love, you're going to feel connection, you're going to feel gratitude, you're going to be so incredibly thankful that you have this person. When you live in those spaces, you cannot live in fear. And the fear is really what's blocking the manifestation. So you can have the list, you can be clear, you can have all the clearest intentions in the world, you can know exactly what it is that you want. But if you live with more fear of it's not here yet, what if it doesn't happen, it hasn't happened yet, and you just are constantly ruminating about how it is not here yet, you are feeding fear. And when you feed fear, nothing is going to manifest, because you are manifesting that it's not here because you're living in fear. It's important when you're visualizing that you're being intentional about where you put your focus. Even throughout the whole day, when you start to catch your mind wandering and going off into fear and worry and self-doubt, it is your job. And this is the hardest job, is being able to be aware, to pull that worry and that fear back to the intention of where you want to go. I am going to choose where this mind goes. I'm not going to just allow it to do whatever it wants to do. And I'm definitely not going to just let it go down rabbit holes all day, every day. When you're setting goals for yourself, when you are manifesting, this is something that you're actively working on. And the more you do it, you'll start catching yourself even more going into fear, going into worry, going into self-doubt. And this is where you're constantly pulling yourself back. This is where you're saying, nope, we're not going there. This is where you start using affirmations. This is where you start listening to affirmations. This is when you start repeating more of what you do want and not what you don't want. This is where you're not going to allow that voice to indulge in any kind of self-doubt whatsoever that's going to keep you stuck. Living in the reality that this is the way life works. I'm going to break this down for you because it's actually really easy, but we, for some reason, make it so incredibly complicated. It is not hard to achieve goals. The hardest part is the belief that it's going to happen, and working on that. That's very hard because we all have fear and we all have self-doubt. No one is above that. We all have it, and having to work through that and be diligent with making that mind, nope, we're not going there. No. That's work. That takes a lot of mental work. I 100% understand that. The second part is the act. You actually have to physically do something. You can't just sit on your couch and manifest and wish something into existence if you never leave the couch. So you actually have to get out of your comfort zone. But the way life works is when you set a goal for yourself, that's done. It's already done. It's not something that's not, you are the only person that's not going to ever be able to achieve it because you don't deserve it. No, you can have everything that you've ever wanted if you do those two things. If you keep acting and you don't stop, I'm going to keep trying, and you do not give up. If you stop, then you're not going to get it. If you believe the fear, it's going to cause you to not take the action, and then you're not going to get it. But if you keep going, it is inevitable that you will get it. You have to have the belief and you have to take the action. If those two things are consistently happening over time, it will manifest. This is the hard part that most people, a lot of people struggle with this too. I mean, everyone struggles in all of these areas at different points, but I think this sometimes is probably a real biggie because people will say, I'm doing the work, I've done all this good stuff, and it's still, I'm really trying stuff, but it's still not here. When you're living in the fear that it's still not here yet, even though you've done all this really great work and you do know what you need to do, you're getting impatient. You want it right now. When you want something right now, you start going into the fear state versus living in that it is here and like tricking your mind and being in more of that optimism. And I don't want to just say optimism in like a positive mindset. It just means you're a normal human being and you're starting to get frustrated. And we have all been there, totally normal. But when you start to realize that, okay, I'm getting impatient now, you got to get back to the basics of you want it right now. Now, here's the thing. This is something that really helps with manifestation because it helps you to work on your need for something. When you need something, there is a lack there going on inside of yourself. Think about it. If you had what it is that you truly want, you wouldn't need it. So there wouldn't be a fear around it because you have it. I have it. There is no fear. I did get it. It's here. So when you are doubting this or you want it really badly, or you're like, okay, I've been doing this for like 6 months or a year or whatever that looks like, and it's still not happening, now you're just going backwards to what used to be. So there is no timeline on this. Can you be happy where you are regardless of what you have? If you can learn to practice that, if you can learn to push past those fears and keep moving forward, things actually happen really quickly. This is why they say things happen when you least expect it, because you're not focusing on it. You're not obsessing about it. You don't need it to happen. You weren't really even thinking about it. And then poof, it happens. When you're working on this, there's something that you really start to learn. Sorry, I'm going to put some lip gloss on because I need it. And we're just going to be real, right? There's something that you really start to work on, and that is your inner self-worth. Do I feel worthy of what it is that I want? You start learning that self-love aspect. You start learning better habits in terms of meditation and affirmation that will help you to start feeding your mind to live in more of a optimistic, hopeful, this is going to happen, I just unfortunately have to wait, so in the meantime I might as well have a good life while I'm waiting. I tell people all the time, you could meet the person tomorrow and then your life changes forever. Your life is not the same forever because now you have met this person. So if it could happen tomorrow, you're gonna suffer, or if it could happen in 6 months, or if it's meant to happen in a year, or whatever the timeline is. So from now until then, you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer just because you don't have this thing that it is that you really, really want. And if you start to kind of like dissect, why do I want this thing so badly? Why do I feel like I need this thing? Because really and truly, you don't need anything. You need to be good in your own self in order to feel good in life. You don't really need all of this crazy money. You don't need to be right here in your career. You don't need to be doing this. You want to have these things, and that's totally fine. Absolutely set goals for yourself and achieve them, but you don't need them. I feel like when we start to break that down, then we realize, oh yeah, I don't. And this thing that I'm obsessing about has a hold over me, and it shouldn't. And then that's when you start to kind of like let it go. And when you let it go, that's when it starts manifesting. I really hope this helped you guys. Please take notes, write this stuff down, figure out also where is it that you really struggle, and anything that you're trying to manifest, whether it's money, a career, a relationship, a car, a house, or whatever it is. There's always certain things that we're trying to manifest that are really easy for us, and then there are things that are just difficult. And usually the ones that are the most difficult have a wound attached to them that you're still trying to probably heal from. I'm so excited that you get to join me today, one of my favorite spots in my town, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Take care, guys.